So objective 3 is being able to solve a linear system of equations by using an augmented matrix. So again, in this picture, you've got yourself a whole bunch of columns, and that's what we're doing with the augmented matrix. We're putting in a column, an extra column. It is all of the answers, all the constant terms, and then what the heck are those three girls doing there? I don't know, maybe one's X and one's Y and one's Z. Okay, so what we saw in the previous video is that this is the order of all the eliminations that you'd want to do if you're doing this by hand in order to take a matrix, an augmented matrix, and put it into row reduced echelon form. Okay, so you can see the circular pattern there: elimination 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, when you're done, on the left hand side you have the identity matrix. On the right hand side you have the solution, and your work is done. So let's do this start to finish with this system of equations. So the first thing that we need to do is put it into an augmented matrix. Alright, so I'm putting this thing into an augmented matrix. It's going to look like this. Across the top row it's a 2, a 4, a 5, and then another 5. I might draw this line down here to separate my coefficients from my constants. Next row is a 1, a 3, and a 2. And then I have a 2, a 4, 4, and a 2. Okay. Obviously I don't have enough room here, so I'm just going to go to this next slide right here. It has the same exact matrix, and let's just do our row operations on it. Okay. So I need to eliminate that thing and this thing. So in order to eliminate it, let us we can do all kinds of things here. How about I do a negative 2 row 2 plus I can do either the top row or the bottom row. It really doesn't matter because they both have 2's in them. Plus, how about the top row, row 1, to replace row 2. Okay, the top one and the bottom one are going to stay exactly the same. So 2, 4, 5, and 5. The bottom one, a 2, a 4, a 4, and a 2. Put this line down here. And now I need to probably go back to the second row and just times everything by -2. So -2, -6, -6, and a -4. So I can add it to the top row. So my first element is going to be a 0, and then a -2, and then a -1, and a +1. Okay, so I've done my first elimination. Now I need to get rid of this 2. So to get rid of that 2, I'm just going to do the top equation times -1. So how about I do a negative row 1 plus row 3 to replace row 3. So my new top row, actually just for addition's sake, is going to be -2, -4, -5, -5. Okay. But whenever I go to write it down, I'm going to write down the original numbers. 2, 4, 5, and 5. The second row stays the same. 0, -2, -1, and 1. And then the new bottom row is going to be 0, -4 plus 4 is another 0. Hey, that is very, very handy. And let's see, 4 plus -5 is a -1. -5 plus 2 is a -3. Maybe put my little line down in there. And now notice that whenever I replace a row, whenever I do my little equation that says what operations I'm doing, I put it on the row that I'm replacing. Just like a visual thing to help whoever's looking at it out, maybe even you, see what it is that you're doing. Okay, so now the next thing that I need to do, let's go ahead and multiply the bottom row by -1 in order to get rid of all the negatives. Okay, so I'm going to do a negative row 3 to replace row 3. Top stays the same, 2, 4, 5, 5. Second stays the same as well, -2, -1, 1, but my new bottom row is 0, 0, 1, 3. Okay, Now what I have to get rid of is this -1. I can only use the bottom equation to do it. Those two are already opposite, so I'm just going to add row 2 plus row 3 in order to replace row 2. Okay, so top stays the same, 2, 4, 5, 5. New middle row is going to be a 0, a -2, 0, and 4. And then bottom stays the same as 0, 0, 1, 3. Alright, so I already have my Z element, my Z answer. In just a second I'm going to get my Y answer because this thing is a -2. This thing is even, so it's very easy to just take -2 times row 2 to replace row 2. Top equation stays the same, 2, 4, 5, and 5. 0, 1, 0, -2, and then 0, 0, 1, 3. So I already have my Y answer and my Z answer. Okay, now I have to get rid of this 5. To get rid of the 5, I can only use the bottom row, and I'm going to have to multiply that by -5. So a -5 row 3 plus row 1 to replace row 1. So I need to go back here and go this bottom row times a -5, so it's a -5 and a -15. Add that up with the top row. 2, 4, 5 minus 5 is 0, and 5 minus 15 is a -10. Everything else stays the same. And 0, 0, 1, 3. Okay. Last thing I have to get rid of is that 4. I have to use the middle equation for that, and I'm going to have to multiply row 2 times, oops, wait, where, eraser? There we go. It's going to be by a -4. So -4, row 2, whoops, this needs to be up here. Eraser again. -4 times row 2 plus row 1 to replace row 1. So let's go back here and multiply everything by -4. So it's a -4, that's still a 0, and this is a +8. Okay, so the top row becomes 2 plus 0 is 2, 4 minus 4 is 0, 0 plus 0 is 0. A -10 plus 8 is a -2. 0, 1, 0, -2, 0, 0, 1, 3. Okay, one last thing, and that is to take half of the top row, and I have 1/2 of row 1 to replace row 1, and I would have 1, 0, 0, -1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, -2, and 0, 0, 1, 3. Which means that my final answer is -1, -2, 3.